Hello, welcome to the Knitting Nirvana video podcast. Today is Saturday, November 6th, and yeah, this is a kind of a special edition that I can't release for a little while. So chances are when you're watching this, it's not really Saturday, November 6th, but I've been kind of masterminding a project for almost a year now with the help of a lot of amazing, wonderful people. And I'm hoping to spend the next 10 minutes kind of giving you some background on it. So, well, first of all, you know that I'm a huge fan of Susan B. Anderson and her work, and I'm a co-moderator on her forum, the Itty Bitty Forum on Ravelry. And there's a great community of people there. And if you're not a part of it and you haven't checked it out, I strongly recommend that you do. It's just an amazing group of ladies that are from all over the world that have a lot of similar kind of ways of looking at things. I think it's because we all so much love Susan's work, and Susan's work is really for babies and children, and it's, you know, cute things and cool things and so forth and so on. So it kind of weeds out all those people that don't respect those kinds of things, which makes it a really interesting, cool group of people. So about a year ago, give or take, it was right around the holidays last year, Susan's book was released, her Itty Bitty Toy book, and she started on a book tour. And she showed on her blog one of the places she went to, and I want to say it was like her home area, maybe it was her own guild. But there was this woman who made for her a mouse out of her Itty Bitty Nursery book, and it was part of the Mobile project. So this woman apparently made all these different mice, and she would dress them up in all different ways, and just really cool. You know, she would use some of her own creativity in it as well. And she brought Susan a gift, and the gift was one of these mice was dressed up in a red union suit, and Susan just loved it, loved it, loved it. And she also spent a lot of time talking about how she doesn't usually get knitted things, whether it's stuff that she makes for herself that she's having to send off to other places or giving to other people, or people giving knitted things to her. It just doesn't really happen. And it was such a big deal to her that she got this gift. And that really bothered me. I didn't like the fact that this woman, through knitting, has brought so much into all of our lives, and something as wonderful as a handmade, handcrafted, knitted gift, she doesn't really get to experience. And that, it really bugged me. I didn't like it. So when I don't like things, I usually try and go about doing something about it. It's just kind of how I am. So I started thinking about it. My first thought was, well, I could go on the board and ask people to kind of come up with something that they want to make for Susan, and then maybe I could collect them all and send her one big box, and she'd get all these knitted things, and wouldn't that be cool? So I contacted Saucy Jill, who's the co-moderator on the forum with me, and I said, what do you think about this? I want to do something about it. Jill thought it was a great idea, was all behind it, and then kind of added one more component to it, and she said, well, instead of doing all different things, why don't we do one big project, like maybe like a blanket or something? And I thought, well, I like the idea of a blanket, and I like the idea of everyone doing that together. However, who's collecting those squares, and who's going to seam them all? Because it ain't going to be me. It's like, I hate seaming. There's no way I'm going to seam up all those squares. And I can't ask anybody to do that. That's, such a huge undertaking. So I'm like, well, yeah, all right, let me think about this. I decided not to take any action, not to shoot the idea down completely, because I like the idea, but I didn't like the idea of all that seaming. So, remember that part. So life continues, we kind of get through the holidays. We're in winter. And then for Susan's book tour, she's going to be in New York City, which is like 3.5 hours to 4 hours by car from where I am. So I decided that I'm going to go down and meet her. And I decided that I was going to make her something and give it to her. And I had done a cloche hat for myself, and Susan had made a point, because I had switched my avatar to a picture of me in it. She had made a point of saying how much she liked the hat, and that was one of the things on her list of things to make, and she, so on and so forth, really, really liked it. So I said, oh, well, here we go, making her that hat, because she's in Wisconsin, it gets cold, I know she likes to run, so maybe she'd wear it running, or, whatever. I thought it was something that she'd get some use out of, and I know that she likes it, because she said how much she likes it, so here we go. So this was maybe like the third week of March, I think. Second, third week of March. So I head down to New York, meet Susan. That was wonderful. Give her the hat. That was wonderful. Um, and then right about that same time, maybe a little bit after that, on the Spud and Chloe blog, Susan releases this free pattern for a blanket. I'm like, I feel like the universe is telling me something. Because one of the things I was holding back on doing a blanket was there wasn't a good free pattern out there that I really liked that everyone would be able to do. You know, any pattern I thought of, including Susan's own patterns, they're from books, and I didn't want people to have to run out and buy a book in order to participate. I didn't want only the people that own the book to be able to participate. So I wasn't really sure how to do it. And then doesn't Susan release this free pattern on the internet of a blanket where people, you know, could each knit a square and then we could put them all together and make this blanket. And it's called the Dreamcatcher blanket. So I contact Saucy Jill again and say, well, I think this is it. I think this is what we're supposed to do. I think we're supposed to do this blanket. And I said, you know, what do you think? So she said, yeah, great, let's do it. So then I contact Susan and I say, you know, we're kind of working on something within the itty bitty forum. I would like everyone to be able to participate that wants to, but I don't want you to know about it. I want it to be a surprise. So I'm asking your permission for a couple of things. One is that we can do something that's nice for you, that's a surprise. Eventually, I'm going to need your address. It's going to go on for a really, really, really long time. And I want to start a thread that you don't read. So are all those things possible? And she messages me back and says, oh yeah, all those things are possible. I love surprises. This is so exciting. Don't worry, I won't peek at the thread. Just please make it obvious which one I'm not supposed to read, because Susan's in there all the time reading and commenting. She said, I don't want to accidentally mess anything up. And she said, I love surprises so much. I wouldn't even consider peeking because I love surprises so much. I don't want to ruin the surprise. Cool. And so there we go. So on March 31st of 2010, which for anyone keeping track is about 7 months ago, I put a thread up. The title of it was Susan, do not read this thread, so that she wouldn't accidentally read it. And I said, so what do people think? Is this something you guys want to do? Immediate overwhelming response. Yep. Everybody wants to do it. Great idea. Let's do it. So then it's like, okay, we've got our blanket pattern. People can knit one square or many squares or whatever. That's fine. I'll collect them all. And then we have to work out colors. How are we going to figure out colors? So someone had the idea, and I honestly don't remember who it was, kind of looking at the pictures that Susan takes of her finished objects or her works in progress, kind of looking around her house in the backgrounds of all these pictures to figure out what colors she likes. So we decided that we wanted it to be kind of like a couch blanket, you know, that her family, her kids, you know, whoever can use whenever they want. So we wanted it to be something that would coordinate with her house. So we made the assumption, there's a chair that she uses a lot that has many different colors in it. And it has different shades of blues, greens, some kind of goldy yellows, like off-white, light beige colors. So it gave us a lot of color options. We made the assumption that that chair was probably in her living space, in the living room, hopefully family room, something like that. And that would give us a lot of color options to pull colors out of for the blanket. So 2 people in the forum, on the thread, went through and matched up Spud and Chloe colors, and actually did some cool, Ray Lynn did a cool like juxtaposition of pictures of the Spud and Chloe yarns with the picture. She stole a picture off of Susan's blog and put the chair with the yarn colors next to each other, which was really cool. So she put those together so that people had, you know, very specific shades of Spud and Chloe sweater yarn that they could pick from. And then we also said, you know, if you can't do Spud and Chloe, that's fine, but do something comparable, like Cascade 220, something that is washable, but is still a natural fiber, something mostly wool-based, and keep it within that same basic range of colors. Don't go out and put in this like bizarre color that doesn't seem to go with it. All right, I'm almost at 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop there. I'll be right back.